Recording in progress. Right, good morning, everybody. This morning, for my little fact, I don't know if anybody's aware, but I like cake. And today is National Cupcake Day. The early extant description of a cupcake was in 1796, when a recipe for a light cake to bake in small cups was written by an American cookery author, Amelia Simmons. According to Google, cupcake recipes are the fastest growing recipe search. The Hostess cupcake, with its signature frosting squiggle, was the first mass-produced cupcake in 1919. The largest cupcake weighed in at 1,176.6 kilograms and was achieved by Georgetown Cupcake at Georgetown Cupcake's National Shipping Headquarters in Sterling, Virginia, USA, on the 2nd of November 2011. I think that was one that was possibly shared, because even I couldn't eat that. And the world's most expensive cupcake is the Rocks Diamond Cupcake, and it was created to honour the annual Glam in the City event in Glasgow. And the cupcake is a pretty pink treat, is dripping with tiny diamonds, and is worth over £125,000. Now, if anybody would like to buy that for me, I'll gladly accept it. Yeah, there you go. So Cupcake Day today, reason to eat cakes. Who needed a reason? But there you go. Right, moving swiftly on. This morning we've got David Sewage from Croner, and we've been working with Croner to refresh and enhance our member benefit. So in this session, David is going to take us through the Navigate Lite platform, which is free to IAB members. And David will be guiding us through from his browser, but also asking for audience participation. So any questions or suggestions, if you put them in the chat, and either me or David will pick them up. Thank you very much. Morning, David.
Thanks, Caroline. Perfect segue from cupcake stories to a little cupcake like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Thank you.
Oh, I should have thought of that. That's
you should have thought. Yeah, you should have thought. You did. It's okay. You can call me any kind of cake you want. But morning, everyone. Yeah, no coffee morning's the same without a cake, is it? So yeah. I just want to say, Karen B, your puppy's very well behaved. You got the training is on point. Yeah, morning, everyone. We it's really good to be back in a coffee morning. One of the reasons we were thrilled to partner with IAB early on, very early on, after the in about sort of end of March 2020. Hate to remind you, was because one of the first thing, the support they gave to their members, it was really so obvious and overwhelming, in the sense that Janet said to us, look, we just need to get our people together once a week. We're having a coffee morning. Do you want to come on? And I went on, and there were just loads of people just really glad to see smiley, happy, supportive faces. And none of that's changed. It's just grown and been enhanced since then. And it's a fantastic organisation to be part of, and a really good one for us to partner up with. One of the things I want to do, I will take you through what you get for free that the IAB have sort of set up with us as part of your membership, and then just show you a glimpse of the main platform. My guess is that some of you have probably been contacted over the last couple of years, because we have quite an active marketing sort of follow up on we're quite active in the world of webinars, and we've got a good presence out there. And what I really want your feedback on is what would a better support resource look like if we were to improve ours for you as a bookkeeper, because we really want to try and enhance what we're offering, and also tweak our main packages because if we can, what we find is we have a lot of demonstrations with IAB members, and it's just not for everyone. And I think that's maybe because it's quite comprehensive, and there's a lot of stuff in there that you probably wouldn't need. So I'm not saying we can get to a utopia where we create sort of an upgraded product that's 100% suited for a bookkeeper, but if we can start to get your feedback, certainly those of you that have had demonstrations so far, and then what I would say is, if you've not had a look at the upgraded version that you get a member discount on, a really attractive member discount on, all you need to do is let us know, and we can just show you, because we would appreciate your feedback. What I think is we've got a great partnership relationship, a really good free offering, and over the last 2 years we've added an extra 2,000 subscribers to our main platform, and around about 7% of those have been bookkeepers, So we know bookkeepers need it, but it's just not quite sticky enough. So I'm being really honest and upfront with you, and hopefully we can start to get the feedback now and work on enhancing it. So full disclaimer up front, I'm normally an MS Teams user. I've not used Zoom since the last time I came on one of your coffee mornings, I don't think. So I'm going to bear with me on any techie issues, but I'm going to share my screen now. I'm not allowed to, so if someone can allow me to share my screen, that'd be amazing.
I think you can now.
Yeah, should I try it now?
Yeah,
Yep, I'm in. Here we go.
Yeah,
so if I share my full screen, there we go. So can you see that?
Yeah.
So all I'm going to do is move this a little bit down there. So just to, if anyone can give a thumbs up or whatever it is that happens in the chat here. Is anyone here receiving daily emails? There's an email we send out in the morning from Accountancy Daily and in the afternoon.
I get one.
Yep. Just want to, so what we will do is send a link to the landing page that we set up with the IAB, because this is your member benefit. So I'm not going to go through everything in here, but what we do is we've got a full team in Accountancy Daily. It goes out. The subscriber list is nudging 30,000, and every day, every afternoon, it's got all the latest news in the world of tax, audit, and accounting. And I'll talk you through a couple of extras that are in there that you may have paid for things in the past. Accountancy Daily itself used to be £150 a year, so that's now that comes to you free of charge. But also we've got some modules, some CPD modules in there, which we've always we charge clients for, which you get included, and Hardman's tax rates and tables. So if you've not got, we'll make sure that the landing page link gets shared. You just fill your details out and you get the email twice a day. So, but it's also a website. I just want to, so when you've got those login details, you can come into here and just have a bit more of a, it's one thing reading things on your phone, but it's another thing sort of diving in and looking on your laptop. So what you've actually got, if I'll highlight a couple of points for you. If you go into the CPD section here, we've got CPD modules, which have opened up in another tab. Can you see now that I've changed tabs? Just want to make sure. Yeah. So we get CPD modules. So there's a CPD module that's added every month. In the full platform, there's about eight a month that get added in. So it gets picked at randomly, but you've also got the archive of the modules that have been added over the previous 12 months. And one of the great things about this is if you go in to play the course on this, it's bite-sized chunks. These are 15-minute videos. They're not going to take up a huge amount of your day. And what you've got when you go in and watch all these is we've got a CPD tracker. So when you've watched it, you've completed the course, and this is applicable for anything you're reading on our website. When I go into my CPD tracker, it's got everything in here. You see, I've not been very active. I think the last time I used it was when I was on your coffee morning last, actually, Janet. But what you've got here is, but I don't get audited. Is you've got a way of downloading that into an Excel spreadsheet. So all of the unstructured learning that you need to do, any article you're reading on here, you just click a button that says Add to CPD Tracker, and it just stores it in the background. And then if and when you ever need to prove that, or you're just interested to see what you've done, you can download the CPD tracker. So that's one of the CPD modules, and the CPD tracker is something that historically that we actually charge for. So you're getting that as a member benefit. So you may as well go in and use it. And then the other thing that we give as a member benefit is the Hardman's tax rate and tables. Actually, I won't open that because it's going to be busy. I've opened it already. So I'm going to make the assumption people are aware of Hardman's, understand what that is. So that was it was historically 180, maybe £200 per year, and we've put that in for you, so you get that as part of this. So I would encourage you all to utilise this member benefit. It's a really good starting point, and it just gives you those updates every single day, and you can track them. What I will do is then reference, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on this because the strongest partnerships are the ones where you don't try and throw your product in the face of the members. But this is where I could do with some of your feedback. It doesn't necessarily have to be now. You can put some stuff in the chat, and hopefully I can get a copy of that if there's a, but also you can go back to whoever your main contact is at IAB. This is, so you get a heavy discount. So if you were to look at a demonstration of this product, now I've got everything in here. So essentially I've got the same access here that we've got 6,000 licenses with the HMRC. They've got access to everything. So they're our biggest client. They log into this when you phone them up. We've got 79 of the top 100, and we've got 3 of the top 4 that have access to this. So I've got access to everything. What I'm then on is a coffee morning with bookkeepers. So I appreciate you don't need everything. And what I'm concerned, if I'm being genuinely honest, what my, not concerned, but what I'd like to know is even our smallest offering, is it sometimes a bit too much for what you need as bookkeepers? So just in a nutshell, these are when you're on the Accountancy Daily website, you'll click through onto something that might be a bit of a like a more in-depth commentary, for example. That will bring you to the platform, and we have all these links on the left-hand side. So we've got different tools, we've got different data, quick overviews, in-depth. We've got all the HMRC manuals that are archived. That's one of the reasons why they subscribe to us so heavily, because their staff can see the manuals easier. It's got any cases, any legislation, everything's linked out. It's also got, one of our main tools is, it's got the full range of CPD. So when you go into the CPD, there's going to be 8 a month in there, and then a 12-month archive of that. I think it's about 120, 130 at any given time on that. And then we have what's called, and these for sort of a sole practitioner accountant, this is one of the most popular tools, which is Navigate Tax, and it allows someone that's sitting down with a business that they're trying to sign up, for example, and it gives you from cradle to grave of a business. And when you click into any of these sections, it's got someone that might be setting up a business as a company. So it's a research and resource tool that allows you to prepare without taking up a huge amount of your own time. We've then got resources in here. And in there, I'm trying to get to this mind map. This isn't meant to be a massive pitch. So this would be everything you'd need for setting up a business when someone wants to, they're getting to a point where they set up a company, everything that you might need to think of. And where it helps the sole practitioner is they print this off. And what they'll also do is they prepare, so when they go for that meeting, they're more of it gives them the credibility and a more sort of trusted approach with the prospective client. But that's just one aspect of Navigate Tax. There's a huge amount more on the platform, which I'm not going to go through now. The main things I wanted you to see were Accountancy Daily, and let's make sure you get registered for this if you're not registered already. And then the fact there's a platform, and it's 1:15. Didn't really want to go much further past that. Always wary of saying throw some comments in the chat if you know, if you think you've got any sort of, I would call it constructive feedback, shall we say. I'm sure you will be. Yeah, there's a certificate for CPD. Good to know, Ian. I'm glad you're getting your email. Where's Mohammed's good question? Didn't see that. Oh, that was about cupcakes. That was about, yeah, no, that's right.
How many cups of tea goes with a cupcake?
You haven't answered. Yeah, if you go back into the CPD, then when you go through, so let me just close that chat box down. When you go into the CPD, when you've completed it, there's a certificate at the end. So you click through and there's a certificate, and it's time stamped and what have you. So the answer to that one is yes. So this is the kind of session we could do with a lot more in-depth view of what we can access. Okay. All right, Karen. Well, I think, yeah, it's a good point, and we've probably, it's a very kind way of saying it's been too long. So we will be doing more of these, and I'm not here to pitch and book demos, but when we demonstrate the full product to people, it takes about 25 to 35 minutes. We book in an hour, we sit there and go through everything and see what's relevant. If anyone here is happy to do that, what I'm really looking for here is the feedback on what works and what doesn't work for you as bookkeepers and within your businesses. So that's my kind of request to you guys. I'll leave it there for now. I don't know how you want to sort of wrap up. Good to know it's useful, Elaine. That's me done, really, Caroline. I will just go on unless you jump in, by the way. I will just go on. Janet will tell you.
I get the emails and I read them, but I've never actually clicked on anything in them.
Okay.
And I've been making notes frantically because I'm going to. I shall have a look one morning when I'm a little bit quieter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Elaine says, thank you very much, really useful. Cheryl says she uses the CPD tracker. It's very good. Joyce says, I would be up for speaking with you, David, about that. So she'll probably get in touch with you.
Perfect.
Or email Ali or Sam, I would imagine, Joyce, and they'll put you in touch. And Mohammed says, thanks. I think this would be good to have on first thing in the morning. So yeah, maybe look at it before you start work. I will go back in and have a look, but the CPD tracker sounds great. Elaine uses the CPD tracker. And Grant's put Grant, sorry, Sam, I'm reading out your surname. Is it worth setting up a separate group after this?
If anybody does, David, given that you want feedback, if we set up a separate group, it could be quite a good thing to do, because I think there's so much there, because we're going to be refreshing our landing page that connects through to Corona Eye as well in the coming weeks. So I think there's a lot more kind of under the bonnet that arguably people haven't necessarily discovered. So if a separate session's worth it, then do let me know and we can set something up.
Yeah, we can accommodate that with some of the other partners that we work with in different products, HR, health and safety. We do what's called a deminar, so it's a bit more of a kind of webinar with a demo mixed. So we go into a bit more of a deep dive, but it's normally good to keep the size of the group. It's great to have hundreds of people on there, but no one really opens up with questions when there's hundreds of people on there. So, if we can have a manageable size, we can have more of a conversation around it. Because my feeling is if we can enhance the full platform, there might just be some tweaking that we need to create almost, like a bookkeepers essentials package, if you like. Do you know what I mean? It could
Karen
well be
said,
that.
could it be something for the ambassador groups? And as an ambassador, David, would you be interested in jumping on one of my groups and just going through it one morning?
Cupcakes and tame puppies. That's all I need. So I've seen it's Karen, so we've ticked the second box. Yeah. Just if you just feed, absolutely, Caroline. Listen, we're let's do what we need to do.
Yeah, because
would love to.
Well, most ambassador groups there's about 6 people in them, so that would be more a sizable group, wouldn't it? For
absolutely. Yeah, let's sort something out.
Yeah, everybody seems to like that idea as well. Yeah. Right, have we any questions then for David before I move on?
Laura, you don't have to sign up. You just go in, it just saves it. As long as you're logged in, it saves your CPD into that tracker. And then as long as you stay logged in, you can download it. Right,
well, thank you very much, David.
Been a pleasure. Thank you.
I think quite a few of us will be in touch to get you to come along to our ambassador meetings. And talking of ambassadors, I think that moves nicely to Janet, who wants to talk about ambassadors.
Yeah. It's really another request for ambassador volunteers, because we've had really great feedback from the ambassador groups. And I'm just going to read you out something from one of Elaine's group, what she sent in. She said, one of the best things to come out of the pandemic has been the ambassador group set up by the IAB following the coffee mornings. It's really like having your own virtual office. The group has been such a support for both bouncing thoughts off and getting technical advice and help. And most importantly, we have had a lot of laughs along the way, which is always important. Need to enjoy yourselves. We can't all know everything 100%. And sometimes we just need confirmation that you're on the right track. And having the group to refer to has been invaluable. So she said that Elaine's done a great job in hosting and that she looks forward to many more. And I thought that just really sums it up. What the reason why we did it is to be able to support each other and make sure that you know, we all have days when you think, have I done that right? Is that right? And you start doubting yourself, and then somebody goes, yeah, of course it is. And you go, oh yeah, okay then. and you know, but some days you just want to be sure. So all of those you with lots of experience and out there, come forward as ambassadors, and so we can help some other people up and around the country. So if you want to, just get in touch with Ali, and she'll sort everything out for you. That's all from me. Just encouraging you all to get together more.
Yeah, it is nice to get together as well. My ambassador meeting's in tomorrow morning at 9:30, because we're all early birds, so we'd like to do it early and get it over and done with. But yeah, start the day right, cup of coffee, bit of a chat, get rid of any problems, and yeah, but yeah, very worthwhile. What have we got? Eva, Caroline is organising our IAB ambassador Zooms, and our conversations are always very interesting. Very important to exchange information, friends. Thank you, Eva. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
Laura says, I'm on the waiting list for an ambassador group. Ali was a great help. So yeah, if you want to be Laura's ambassador or lead the group that Laura's in, contact Ali.
Yeah, I'm speaking to somebody who's going to be hoping to become an ambassador. We're interviewing them. I think it's next week. Alice just set that up. I know I just did the appointment this morning. So, yes.
Oh well, good luck, whoever that is. Right then. So our second speaker this morning is Alan Richardson. Are you there, Alan?
I am here. Can you see me? Hear me?
Excellent. I can
Excellent.
now.
Hi, Alan.
Yeah. Hello. So Alan is from LifeSearch, a long-standing member benefit, but in this session, Alan will give you a whirlwind tour of business protection and what you should be aware of to make sure that covers you have in place are paid, claimed and taxed correctly. Sounds interesting, Alan. Good morning.
Good. Not many people say that to me, Caroline, but thank you. So just to use the cupcake analogy, sometimes I think of myself as a tart. As long as I don't come across as a donut, this should be okay. Mo, your boy is also welcome into the office if he wants to look at that career in protection. I met Mo and some of you down at the awards down in Parliament back in May, wasn't it? And it was great. I really enjoyed meeting you and finding out more about your worlds. But what come off the back of that conversation was, or some of those conversations, was the fact that many of you have already started working with local IFAs and local insurance brokers to look at protection for your clients, which is wicked. That's the big holistic message. Let's make sure your clients are protected if they suffer from ill health. So what I thought I'd like to do there is, you can see your own faces off that. Are you seeing your own faces in the corner there? Is that uncomfortable for you?
Yeah, it's good for me.
Okay, good. I thought I'd just run through how you guys can help make sure that your part of this equation is complete for your clients. Now, ultimately, the way you set the policy up, the way we log the policy is going to affect how a life insurance policy, and we'll only talk about life insurance cover today, how that policy could be paid for, what happens at claim stage, and ultimately how that policy is going to be taxed as well. So the majority of life insurance policies that we ever look at in the UK are going to be personal insurance policies, and they're normally used to pay off mortgages or make sure children are looked after. And sometimes we use these policies to pay off inheritance tax bills and other tax bills and so forth. Now, the majority of the time, these policies should be written into a trust, and that trust will ring fence that policy from any estate taxes, which is good for inheritance tax purposes. Life insurance policy, personal life insurance policy, is always exempt from capital gains taxation, which is cool. But what's going to help you and your clients a little bit more is understanding the business protection side of things. So this is key person cover, this is loan protection cover, this is shareholder protection cover there. David, I saw shareholder protection in iChroma there, by the way. It'd be great to make sure that they've got the insurance elements included in there as well. Maybe we can have a chat about that. But also employee benefits as well. So let's start off on key person, because key person is the one that everyone always thinks of when they are talking about business protection. And this is where we put money into the business to help the business survive. Now, there's actually 3 types of key person. Most of the time, a key person policy has been set up for locum replacement, i.e. if someone gets ill or dies, that there's money in the business to help that person or to help that business employ someone else to do that job. Now, by the strictest definition of key person, that isn't really key person. Key person is sort of outlined in the business insurance manual. It is a policy which has been taken out for the protection of profits. So if you've set your policy up for a locum replacement, you've immediately failed that first one of those Anderson principles, which a lot of people don't actually realize. So what we need to do here is just make sure we've got this set up right. The other common pitfall we have with key person policies and the taxation around it is the Anderson principles is stating a set of rules to decide what the tax position is on key person. It's not saying whether you can have a key person policy or not. What I often see is people trying to set up a key person policy and claiming tax relief when there is not an employer-employee relationship. If you're the proprietary owner of the business, then you're never going to be able to claim tax relief on the policy, but you could still have the cover. You are still key to the business. What often happens is you've normally, we come across policies that have failed one of those first two rules, but then the policy's still been set up on a short-term or renewable basis as outlined in the Anderson principles. But the thing is, if you failed one of those two principles already, what's the point of setting the policy up on a short basis? You might as well set the policy up for as long as you need that cover for. If that person's going to be around until they're 67 years of age and adding value to the business, let's write that policy for that period of time. Ultimately, setting the policy up correctly is more important than whether you can claim tax relief on the premiums or not. At claim stage, a key person policy pays into the business as a trade-in receipt. So ultimately, this means if that money is not used and it's sitting there on the profit and loss account, it's going to be taxed under the corporation tax regime. Also, any key person policies that are paid into the business will always exit the business with a loss of taxation as well. And this is where the third policy comes in, third part of key person comes in. If you have been asked to set up a key person policy by your bank, which may often happen, for the purposes of loan protection, corporate lending still requires this policy, this sort of cover on a regular basis, then really we should be separating loan protection out. Now, loan protection is normally taken out incidental to the loan, and as such, it fails the wholly and exclusively rule, so you can't claim corporation tax relief on the premiums. But importantly, at claim stage, because this policy has been taken out for capital repayment, the money will sit on the capital account and it can leave the business tax-free, so you don't lose any taxation when you're trying to pay back that capital repayment, which is wicked. Obviously, if you did claim corporation tax relief on the premiums, you'd probably almost certainly suffer taxation on the policy leaving the business. So we're just talking about key person policies here. We've got three different types of covers here, all with a different tax consideration. So what can you do? Well, the first thing that we should be making sure that we do with all of these key person policies is minuting the purpose of that policy. I will send a copy of this example around to you guys for your use, but it doesn't have to be any more complicated than this. If the HMRC do a tax investigation or at claim stage, if there's any sort of tax investigation, we can clearly outline what the purpose of that policy was, what the intention of that policy was. You can write a letter of intentions to the HMRC, but I've yet to ever see the HMRC acknowledge or respond to one of those letters. Outside of key person covers, that shareholder protection is commonly written, is one of the big business protection needs out there. And a shareholder protection agreement is essentially there to do three things. It's there to retain the ownership of the business following the death of an individual. It's there to provide fair value to the estate upon the death of that shareholder. And thirdly, and importantly, it's there to do this whilst avoiding paying unnecessary capital taxes. I'm trying not to use the word avoid, but I just slipped out there. So the insurance policy that we're going to write, or that your partner should write, should be written in such a way to help them fulfill those requirements. Most policies are written on an own life basis and written into a business trust. That business trust is important because that is the way to make sure that the money isn't paid into the business, but is paid to the surviving shareholders tax-free. A policy should be set up in trust from the outset. If we try and place a policy into trust mid-term, then there is a transfer into trust for money's sake, and that could incur a capital gains taxation. So we should always make sure that policy is set up in the first place into trust. What is often forgotten about with shareholder protection policy in protection policies in particular is the need to undertake premium equalization, and this is where sorry to suck eggs if you already know this, but this is where we make sure, this is where we commercialize the premium. If we don't commercialize the premium, then the policy premiums being paid, or the policy premium, the policy claim could be seen as forming part of the individual's estate and would be subject to inheritance taxes. There's lots of good premium equalization calculators out there, but ultimately what we're doing is equitably distributing the P11D taxation for these shareholders. It may be a case that these P11D shareholder needs to be processed through the self-assessment scheme, but ideally you want to be able to process it through your payroll. This also helps out with some capital gains taxation considerations as well. It may be a case that your customer has set up their shareholder protection policy on a company buyback facility. Just remember that any share purchasing being undertaken by a company needs to be undertaken in the first instance from capital, as opposed to anything under the profit. Has to be undertaken from retained profits, beg my pardon, not capital. Finally, some people use life insurance policies simply to set up a new employee benefits scheme. A lot of the employee benefit schemes out there will be group schemes, group death in service schemes. If you've got a group death in service scheme for one of your clients, it's probably just worthwhile checking to see if the policy's been set up on a registered basis or an accepted basis. If it's been written on a registered basis, then any claim under that policy will contribute towards their pensionable lifetime allowance and could be taxed at 55%. Talk about accepted life insurance policies. There is something called a relevant life insurance policy, which is an accepted policy. It's set out as under section 393 of the Income Tax Earnings and Pensions Act. And ultimately, this is a one-person death in service policy. Section 247 of the Finance Act 2004 clearly removes the charge to income, but ultimately, this policy would be paid for by the business as an allowable expense.
Because I can't hear a flipping thing.
Do I need to speak up? We'll take a thought there. But the important thing here is this policy pays into a discretionary trust. So at claim stage, the money pays directly to the family members tax-free, not into the business. Lots of accountants still do not understand this policy. It's a wonderful policy. Reach out to me if you want some more information on that. Ultimately, if any of your clients have any of these policies in place or have life insurance policies in place, this is a checklist that I suggest that you just check with them. Make sure each of the policies has been separated out. There's no point having £1 million policy trying to do all these different things, because you're going to get into a tax model and it's not going to be tax efficient. Minute the purpose of each one of the policies as well. Check that the trusts are up to date. This includes making sure that it's got the current trustees on there and the right beneficiaries on there, especially with a death in service policy. Any trusts that have been set up and may have value in them may need to be registered under the TRS, the Trust Registration Scheme, and there's a set of rules around that. Do make sure premium equalisation is taking place, because you won't incur any problems until claim stage if it's not happened, and it's the most commonly forgotten about part of this process. And finally, just check the status of any death in service policies as well. If your protection advisor, if your local partner, your IFA, is uncomfortable with any of these conversations, then through the IAB, you do have access to Life Search, which is me and my team. We have discounted rates, which is achieved by a commission sacrifice that we do in order to give you cheaper rates. You may decide that you want to partner with us directly, in which case we've set up a fast track IAR agreement for you guys, and we can pay you commissions for anything that you refer, any families that you refer over to us. As IAB members, you will also get, well, all of your clients will receive LS Care, which is this post-sales set of services such as bereavement, counselling, stress management, physiotherapy, and so forth. So it's good stuff. And I would also point out that we are the only protection brokerage in the UK to actually have a claims team. At the end of the day, we're not selling a piece of paper, we are selling a claim service here. So we will look after your customers. That's the dedicated team's phone number. And yeah, it's just a privilege to be working alongside the IAB. We're dead proud of it. You're on our website, and we talk about you to lots of other people as well. So that's it for me, Caroline.
All right, brilliant. Thank you, Alan. Is there any questions for Alan? So if I sent one of my clients to you, would I get commission on what he bought from you? Sorry.
So initially, no, Caroline, but if you wanted to earn commission from us, then we could arrange for that to happen going forward. Absolutely.
Right.
So the classic situation is one of you guys reached out to me, said we want to partner with Life Search. We put you through this fast track IAR process, introducer agreement, representative agreement, and then we can commission share with you directly. Right. If you've just got one customer, for example, and you just looking to do them a good deal, send them to us, and then we'll sacrifice our commissions that we would normally take by 30%, which gives them a cheaper, lower cost premium and expert advice, of course.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Thank you. Good. Anybody else got anything for Alan?
No, I can just say that the service is good, and we've done IAB have got some of this insurance with them. So we tested it first to see whether they worked and they were efficient. Good.
So you're all covered then, Janet?
Well, yeah, I think if they try and get rid of me or slide me under the bus or something, I think I'm covered.
Thomas says, is the number quoted for our clients to contact you? Is it okay for clients to contact you on that number, Alan?
Absolutely, please do. That number, if it rings up on my screen, it comes up as IAB, so we instantly know that it's an IAB conversation.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Anybody else? No. Well, thank you very much.
If I might just say to David as well, every time I Google anything about taxation, iCroma comes up first, and I always start to read the top of it, and then I think after. I need to get into that. So yeah, explore that more.
Good to know. Click on.
See, member benefits helping member benefits. I like that.
Yeah, good.
We're all helping each other. Right then. So now I'm going to go to Sam, who's got some very exciting news about next month's coffee morning.
Indeed. Thank you. So some of you may know that we have been looking at, although we've just talked about how successful and how people like this format, change is always good. And we've been looking at ways in which we can invigorate the coffee morning more. And one of them ideas is to take it on the road. So having had the opportunity in May at a Cantex to meet some of you, we kind of thought it'd be great if we can start meeting some of you in person on a more regular basis. So we're kind of going to do a little bit of a road trip. So appreciate that the location may not be okay for everybody. Hopefully in time, if it is successful, we'll get round to different parts of the country. But the first one in September, the date's moved from what's already scheduled in. So we're looking at Wednesday, the 28th of September. And we're going to be holding our first on-the-road coffee morning in Knutsford in Cheshire. And it's going to be hosted by the Forum of Private Business. So it's going to be a slightly different format to this. So obviously it'd be great for those that can attend in person to be there, but it will be streamed. So you will be able to watch it virtually, which will be slightly nerve-wracking for the people, the people that are on the stage or on the panel, because what we're going to be doing is having a panel discussion. So the panel discussion will be around challenges that small businesses face. for example, through late payment, but also it will be how an accountant or bookkeeper can work with a small business to make them more efficient, to help alleviate workload. Obviously, the many different ways in which you guys do work with your clients and to demonstrate the benefit. So on the panel will be Liz Barkley, who's the Small Business Commissioner, our very own Sarah Palmer, and also our very own Mohammed, our Accountant of the Year, has agreed to take part, which we're extremely pleased about. So more details will follow because there's quite a lot to organise, as you can imagine. But we'll send out an email. Obviously, you can either join by link, and those that can attend, it will be great to see you. And more details will follow soon.
Those that can attend, Sam, do you need them to email someone to say, I would
Yeah,
like
we
to
will do.
attend?
I think the plan is I will send an email with all with the address details on and a bit of an overview of the speakers and what it's going to be. And it will probably be a link to the IAB marketing inbox, so myself and Ali can pick it up because we'll need to keep a check on numbers, because also the Forum of Private Business will also be having their members attend as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will need to keep a track of that, so we'll get your details.
Right, brilliant. Look forward to it.
Someone's just asked what the date again. It was Wednesday the 28th of September. The time's probably, the start time's probably going to be 10 o'clock for mingling and coffee, so the actual session may not kick off until 10:30, 11ish. Those are kind of up for debate at the minute, but it's going to be a morning session.
Right. Karen's looking forward to us going to the Midlands.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll go to the Midlands.
We're going to have to
Oh yeah.
zigzag around the country, I feel.
If it's really successful, we'll have to get some kind of motorhome.
On the West Country.
Yeah, good for you. I'll stay in the hotel, you go on a motorhome, Sam.
Yeah, no, I'm with the hotel, Caroline.
Yeah. We'll go to a hotel and Sam can just park in car park. Should be all right.
It'll have to be obviously have certain adjustments. It'll be a luxury motorhome.
Will it?
Like
an American RV.
Yeah.
It'd be bigger than our hotel, Janet.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be sorry.
Yeah.
I need one in West Yorkshire. We need one in the West Country. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
We need one on the coast
I
as
might
well.
wait for the summer for the West Country.
Yeah.
Although it took Sarah 9 hours to get down to Cornwall on Monday.
Did it?
Yeah.
Wow. I think I've done Cornwall quicker than that.
Yeah. So, and then she got there and it thundered and lightninged.
Oh no.
Oh well. As long as she's having a nice time.
Yeah, flying start to the holiday.
Yeah. I'm sure she's having a nice time now. I'm sure she found a bar.
Yeah, I'm sure her and Tom did. Yeah, I'm sure they're managing.
Yeah, sure they're all right. Right, is anybody anything else? Because we're a little bit early this month.
We are, aren't we?
It's unusual. Joys of Cornwall in the
anything else,
summer.
Sam, that we've got coming up that we should be looking forward to? Or I am conscious that this year we haven't done the fundamentals, and I kind of because lots of other things have been going on, it kind of sort of like got out of the way a bit. But we were thinking, I was only talking to Samantha about this first thing this morning, and thinking about more webinars sort of that are coming on, and different things like that, so that they're more of like taking an hour out of your day rather than taking an hour every day for 1 week.
Yeah.
So we're quite happy if somebody wants a particular topic they really feel that we need like a good hour's instruction on, or what's coming up and any particular issues that people are finding. So any requests, please send them in. We're always looking to which what are you finding the most needs, where you need help, so that we can sort of like source the person to come and talk about it and help you do anything.
Who should we email those requests?
Just
to?
email it into Ali, and then she'll put it on mine and Sarah's and Sam's agenda to make sure we organise the right people to come and speak.
Sorry, go on, Sam.
I just said there's a couple of things coming up that people have requested. So it was I think it was a couple of months ago now, but there was a webinar coming up on cyber, which Go Simple Tax are doing in September. So I'll be putting that in the newsletter. And I know there's been a few requests for different topics. I think there was one around kind of like mindfulness and positivity webinar, which I've been talking to somebody on. So there's going to be something around that coming out. So it's great to hear any ideas that you have so we can kind of structure the content.
Karen's suggesting more information on the change of name of the IAB and what that will actually mean to bookkeepers and accountants going forward, because that happens soon, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're going through and changing all the documents on the site. So when you're going in a bit, you'll start to see that some have been rebranded and they've got the name change and the logo slightly changing. And you will get an email beforehand. We're going to announce it officially everywhere, like on the 1st of September, but members will get an email beforehand with the new logo so you can put it on your website, etc. And the name, I mean, it was mainly the name changed. One, the word bookkeeper in some countries isn't always, they don't know what it is. And we were finding that some of the younger generation, when we did a bit of a survey, also didn't really get what it was. Once you explained, they totally got it.
Yeah.
Here. So it was really, it's always been a bit of a bone of contention. They've been debating the idea of changing the name for over 10 years. And no one could ever sort of come up where we sort of like it encompassed everything. So I had a light bulb moment one morning and came up with the Institute of Accountants and Bookkeepers, because it kind of says everything we do. And I know what I did. I didn't want to lose the word bookkeeper because I was very proud of being a bookkeeper. Yes, I did accountancy work, but my favourite part was the bookkeeping work. Yeah. So for us, for the change of name, it kind of says what our members do, because more and more of you are doing, accountancy work as well, and wanted to make sure that you're recognised for that. And it also, I think, it will help attracting customers, clients to yourselves, because sometimes small businesses don't get it. You think, oh, well, if you do bookkeeping, you actually can't do a tax return, when lots of you do the tax return. So I think it kind of says more about what we do on the tin. Institute has been a word we've wanted to use since we actually looked 50 years ago. But at the time, I don't think they were allowed to have the word institute until you've been trading. Now you can register, but you have to have a really good reason and support. So we had to get support letters, and we got support from a university who were hoping to work with in the future with higher qualifications. And we also got support from the Chartered Institute of Payroll Professionals, who we're also going to be collaborating with and doing more work with. So you'll get lots more help where the payroll's concerned.
Yeah, Laura says even older clients don't know what a bookkeeper is.
Yeah.
Karen says it's more the implications for registration, etc.
Yeah.
And Kathy says, does that mean that mortgage companies will actually accept our qualifications to sign off mortgage forms? They're meant to at the moment, aren't they, Janet?
They're supposed to do it. They're supposed to do it at the moment. I argue back with them, quite frankly, and I used to get quite stroppy when I was and row with them on a regular occasion. But then they're not supposed to turn you down and saying it's not recognised, because it is. If you've got qualifications from a professional body, they should acknowledge them.
Yeah, it's recognised.
The people who are holding up why we've had to wait until the 1st of September is the Treasury. Lo and behold, what a surprise. Because when we asked them for we're telling them to change a name, they went, "Ooh, don't know what to do about that. We don't know how to do it." Just change it on your website. That's all you have to do. Oh, well, it might be a legislation. So we had to go back and tell them and show them where, and somebody had changed the name previously to prove that it was right. We've done all the work. Well, Jodie's done all the work to get it then. Anyway, somebody's on holiday now, so we have to wait until next Monday. So they're going to change it.
Kathy says, I've just had a client in the last week that wouldn't accept mine, so I had to pay extra for someone to sign off my work.
I I wish we could do something as
It
a
is
whole.
annoying.
I've tried to fight it, but every bank and every mortgage company seems to have their own rules, and they don't even do it. Sometimes it's down to each branch.
Yeah, sometimes
know, when-
I've found it's down to the person that's reading the form.
Yeah, it is.
It's not even branch wise. It's just who's
Yeah.
reading the form.
Yeah, I
It's,
think it came up. It came up a few months ago actually when someone asked that question, and Sarah and I followed it up. And it is on an individual basis. Unfortunately, it's not a holistic thing that you can stamp out. It is sometimes just the person, like you say, Caroline, who you encounter on a particular day. I'm
lucky because Scarborough's quite a small town, so I tend to know the mortgage people in each branch. So it's when it goes to a mortgage advisor that uses somebody in Birmingham or London that I tend to have an issue.
Yeah.
But touch wood, not very often. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do keep campaigning. We're also campaigning, you know, along with all the other bodies, trying to get the accountant and bookkeepers as a regulated industry, due to the fact that anybody can set up without a qualification, which is not good for businesses and not good for us as an industry, because, you know, those of you who have done all the qualifications and worked hard, it's, you know, it's you get a bad reputation from bad people, and that's not okay. I think if that happens, I think that would change everything, because if you're then a registered, all the mortgage companies would and everybody else would have to accept it.
Yeah.
So we're very putting, you know, we keep fighting.
Mohammed says, in all honesty, I want our name to be the first on the lips of people, as when I say I'm not chartered, they ask, oh, so AAT. I find that very frustrating. Yeah, me too, Mohammed. I think we all do.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing, you know, in the future we could apply to be a chartered institute, you know, but it's extremely costly and it takes an extremely long time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of prejudice trying to get through on that. You won't believe it, but there is.
Yeah.
So that's probably a fight to start later, maybe next year.
Yeah. That's a different battle to have.
Yeah. Kind of need a breathing space before I start my next one.
Just quickly, Janet, can I just ask, at Parliament we announced who our charity of the year was, and as you are aware, I did the bike ride. Is there any motions going forward to what we're doing next? Is there a plan or a time scale, or is that still top secret?
No, with the charity, because it's sort of like based in Yorkshire, we have sort of like floated the idea of doing the 3 Yorkshire peaks possibly as a walk. Samantha's volunteered herself to walk them all 3 of them, and we've volunteered Sarah.
Obviously. Yeah.
So it's on our agenda to sort of like, we're just getting everybody over the summer holidays, and then we want to start to make notes on that about when we're going to do it. Obviously we don't want to do it in the depths of winter, but you don't want to do it when it's blazing hot either.
No.
So I don't know.
No.
We're thinking maybe April-ish time we'd probably have a look at doing it.
Right.
April-ish time or something like that. But we want to start to get some other ideas going. We did think about having an IAB cuddly toy, you know, like an IAB charity bear that people could purchase, and every time somebody purchased one, then we you know, that money that's raised
would generate
would start to generate into the charity. There's a couple of other ideas floating around, so we'll see. We're trying to get Sarah on a horse races too. There's a novice horse race. Unfortunately, it means Sarah's got to go on a diet. So I'm not sure what she's going to do.
Sarah.
I know she hasn't got anything to lose, so I don't know how she's actually going to do that. But she has been offered a racehorse to ride, and because if you don't know, Sarah's really mad on racing, and has worked in the industry in the past, and is quite a good jockey really. So yeah, so we might be putting on there, so we'll all like need to be supporting on that bit. But if she's going to do it, so we'll keep you posted though about some of the
Watch
things
this
that are going
space
to
then.
go on. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, thinking about like next year is our 50th anniversary. So we're really looking forward to awards next year and opening up the categories. Probably will be January. So we'll be sending that out. We might send that out before Christmas or the beginning of January to put the nominations in.
Busy year next year.
Yeah, it is. So we're quite really looking forward to that. Lots to see.
Good. Excellent. Thank you very much. Have you anything else? Sam, Ali?
No,
No.
nothing from me, thank you.
Right, we'll call it a day then. So the next one will be September the 28th.
On the road.
On the road. And Sam will email everybody and confirm it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And other than that, thank you very much for coming and joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, David.
Thank you
And
very
thanks,
much.
Alex.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Alan.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.